right, today is actually the second season of Colorado Antelope. It runs October 1st through October 9th, so there's 9 days. I've been slammed with work, so I don't have anything packed. Started packing this morning. It's Sunday. I'm trying to wrap up some work, and I've been looking online, trying to figure out what am I going to do, what's my plan. My biggest question right now is, do I bring an ATV with me, or do I just use the truck? And the truck is fine, but it's limited as to where it can go, at least in terms of where I'm planning on hunting. We're in Colorado, central Colorado, near Hartselle. I'm going to tell you this because it took 10 years to get this tag. So it's not like you're going to run out here next year and be like, hey, that Alex guy found a hot spot. Well, good luck. It's 10 years later. Who knows if the antelope are still going to be here. So anyway, that's where I'm going to be. The roads are very muddy when wet, very muddy. There's not a lot of trees. So if you get stuck, slide over a ditch, you're pretty much screwed until somebody else comes and pulls you out. Hence the thought on the ATV, but it's a lot of work for, 2 to 3 day little hunt. And I can go back next weekend, but I'd really like to fill my tag as soon as possible and worry about elk, which is coming up in about 2 weeks. So that's where I am. So obviously I decided to bring the ATV. It was actually a great thing to have on the trip, and it worked out really well. The loading part, however, through some challenges, hit the throttle a little more intensely than I should have, and ended up poking a hole in my toolbox. So I've never loaded the ATV in a truck like this before, and I actually wasn't going to bring it. I figured if I put it in backwards, it would fit. Well, sure enough, it fits. And I pierced a nice hole right in my toolbox. There's a little more behind the scenes than what you see here. I actually had to take the ATV out, all the stuff out of the toolbox, hammer back the metal and close the hole, and then reload everything. And I did, and it worked out just fine. And ironically, to this day, that toolbox still has a little dent in it where the metal was banged back after the ATV punched a hole in it. I'm almost to the unit right now, at least where my tag starts, and there's pronghorn all over out here. The toughest part is going to be obviously getting to them because it's very flat and open, and making sure they're on public land. There's a bunch of BLM and there's some state trust land around here too, but it's kind of checkered, so I'll just have to see where they end up being, but I'm excited. Just went through BLM, and I didn't know it was BLM thanks to modern technology and all the new map software available that's out there. It is BLM, and I'm like, damn, I can hunt this. Like, I always see pronghorn out here whenever I drive this road. We have property back here, and sure enough, there's a car parked there. I'm like, oh look, some guys already picked this spot out. They were about 200 yards from the road, gutting a pronghorn. So absolutely, the pronghorn are here, and it was a good spot. So now I'm on National Forest land. We call it the back way to get to our property, which borders National Forest. It's not really prime pronghorn habitat right over here. Not that they couldn't be here, but we've just never seen many of them. So who knows? Keep my eyes open. Like a nerve-wracking part for me. This is my property's right over there. It's all that side. The road is obviously not well traveled here, but it was about a year ago exactly that our cabin was broken into. So I boarded it up, but hate to plan on staying here for the night and then have it all messed up and ransacked and robbed. It's unfortunate that people think that that's fair to do to other people. Whew, everything is okay. As best as I can tell, Oh, why did I do that? There we go. So if I did this right, I should be able to turn my solar on. There we go. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So running on batteries right now. There's a solar panel. I don't know if you could see when I walked in. There we go. Our lights are on. Right up there. That's 100% battery. And it's nice to be able to walk in here and just have it kick on. There's a big generator too. Fill in a little water. And then it's an evening hunt. I'll just go out for an hour or two. Probably till sunset and come right back. I got all the cabin chores done. Well, most of them. All right, it's about, I think it's about 4:30. Let me look. Should look before it. 5 o'clock. It's Sunday afternoon. I got here a few hours ago. Cleaned up the cabin, got everything set, took all the boards off. Got everything cleaned up as best as I can. I still have a few more chores. But there's about 1 hour and 40 minutes of daylight left according to GPS. So gonna just take a little ride. And the plan is to go where we saw pronghorn 2 times in a row in this field when we came out here dirt biking this summer. So it's close. That's the reason I'm doing it. I don't have a lot of time. It wouldn't be the plan if it was a full day. So I'm just gonna check it out tonight, glass, and go from there. Not going anywhere. Well, not quite yet. Got on the 4-wheeler and had a little problem. So I get to fix that. Oh look, all fixed, see? Solid. Little lesson here. Polaris, even though it's not supposedly made somewhere in like Japan, does not use standard size wrenches. So I had to use a metric crescent wrench and I was able to tighten it. Okay, so I glassed the fields where we saw those pronghorn dirt biking this summer and saw nothing. There was like 5 cows down there. So I just kept going. There's a loop you can do. And this is actually like really weird hunting to me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but what do you do? Drive around until you see one? I mean, it's kind of, I guess, like spot and stock. I mean, I can't imagine just sitting in one of these meadows and waiting for them all night. But probably should have read the directions on how to hunt them better. It's a cool little meadow, though. All right, keep looking. All right, I'm gonna go with like a slim to none chance that there's anything on this hillside. Probably the latter, but figured it was worth glassing anyway. I mean, it's not too often. I don't think I've ever seen any animals out here, ever, except cows. Not even deer. In 2009, so that's 13 years. 13 years. I've never seen an animal on this hill, but that's all right. I'll just quickly glass it and probably see nothing again. All right, it's time for a drink. After my first 2 hours ever of pronghorn hunting and saw this many animals, 0. I actually didn't expect to. I drove up, it was 16 miles, did a little loop. We took the dirt bikes around there this summer. It's a pretty fun little trail. And we saw, I think it was 2 or 3 pronghorn there this year, twice. I mean, both times we did it, we saw them. So I thought, all right, if they're territorial, maybe they're still there. They weren't, saw nothing. No deer, nothing, no elk, not a single animal except 2 crows and some cows, like moo cows. That's okay. That's okay. My anticipation was that I wasn't going to see anything there anyway. It was kind of like I only have 2 hours, so why not try it? Tomorrow morning, totally different strategy. Going to go straight to the plains. I'm going to go the back way. Kind of talked about it before. So take the 4-wheeler. It's about, I don't know, it's good 30-minute drive maybe on the 4-wheeler. But maybe that should get me to the backside of state lands, and I know there's animals there. Whether or not I see them, I don't know, but I know there's animals there. So that's the plan for tomorrow. Now it's time for a drink. Okay, so first kill and it's not something I'm gonna eat. So gross. It's a wood rat, a pack rat, and they're a huge problem in this part of Colorado, central Colorado. And they're always digging underneath my cabin, little fuckers. They're building nests underneath there, and it clogs all the water drainage up, and you can't get through, and they crap all over. Constant struggle. Traps don't do anything. The best solution is a 22. At 2 a.m. last night, I heard some wood being stirred around, like some gnawing. Like, that's it, game on. And one shot with the 22 little pistol, exactly 21 yards. Look at that, it blows it out. Ugh, I'm done. Oh, one other quick thought. If you ever smell dead mouse, this is 10 times worse than that. Horrible. Probably not ideal to do during the hunting season, but I've got to check my rifle. I brought 2 with me, and yesterday I was carrying around a 300 Win Mag, and I trust that rifle like explicitly. I mean, all the way out to 600 yards, I know what the thing's gonna do. The problem is, I think it's a little much for a pronghorn. If the shot was there, I'd definitely take it, and it's gonna go down. But I have 308, and I just want to double check it. These things seem to be kind of liking to be run clean. So the last time I shot it, it was a little dirty, probably 40 rounds through it, and the groups were a little bigger than I like. Usually they're capable of 1 inch, like super easy 1 inch. Just want to take a few rounds, just double check, make sure I'm good, and then I'll carry this with me today. I figured since I made some noise, I might as well try out a new pistol. This is a Sig Sauer X10. It's a 10 millimeter. They came out about, I don't know, 5-6 months ago. I had to drive almost 2 hours to go pick this up, and I'm in a huge metro area, Denver. So I had to drive outside of Denver to pick one up. I'm pretty impressed with the gun. I've never fired it. Initial impressions are the grip is very comfortable. It's a little bigger than a 940, but nowhere near like a Glock. 10 millimeter. Very similar to here's another one. This is the Smith & Wesson M&P 4-inch. It's about the same as this, maybe a little, actually maybe just a little smaller. It's still kind of square though. They had to squeeze in 10 millimeter rounds in that little magazine well, so, but definitely smaller than a Glock. The ironic thing is this barrel is exactly 4 inches, or 5 inches long, sorry, 5 inches. It's the same overall length as a Glock 20. I'll show you that later. But if you put a Glock 20, which is a 4.6 inch barrel, from here to here, it's exactly the same as this one. What they did on the SIGs is they moved the chamber back. So the back of the barrel, the breech face, is about right here in a Glock, and here it's over here. So they gained another 1/2 inch plus by moving this back. And it's actually pretty cool. I mean, so this is the same overall size as a 1911 and a Glock 20, almost identical. So one thing I don't like, it came with night sights, but they're not night sights set up for the red dot optic. If you choose to do that, you're gonna have to replace these if you want to co-witness. So that part isn't cool. So I'm probably gonna have to replace the sights. I do want to put a red dot on there, probably some enclosed one. I intend to carry this in the woods. So let's fire it. Wasn't kidding. Here's a quick comparison. That's a Glock 20 on top with the SIG on the bottom, and there's a 1911 full size with the SIG on the bottom. Almost identical. Here's what I'm shooting. I like double tap. I know Mike McNett, at least in a casual basis, see him at SHOT Show every single year. I started ordering 10 millimeter from him when he first got started. He still remembers me as one of his first 10 millimeter customers. So that's what we'll shoot. Shoot some of this double tap right here. One's hard cast. They're both 200 grain. One's jacketed hollow point. I think it's an Osler bullet. The standard for me is to normally chronograph these things. I didn't bring a chronograph with me. I'm hunting right now, so it's just a new thing. I literally picked it up 2 days ago, so I'm anxious to shoot it. So we'll put a few rounds through it, and I'll show you what happens, and maybe do a little more in-depth report at my home range. Okay, true to all the other reviews out there, the last round is a bitch to get in. That's 14. Getting the 15th round in is really hard. You got to push pretty hard, and then it's hard to get in the gun. So it's best to have the slide back and then let it slam forward and chamber around. All right, new SIG X10. I'll be shooting the jacketed hollow point first. And this is at measured 10 yards. All right, that was 5 shots. Took it out of the chamber. Again, that's the jacketed hollow point. Try 5 shots with the lead. This is lead hard cast 200 grain. Here we go. That was 5 shots. I think that last one was a little, I pulled it, it was a little loose, but that's all right. Take a quick look and see how we did. All right, so the center to bull I did with the jacketed hollow point. All right, there's 5 shots with the jacketed hollow point. That's 4 shots right there, holy shit. And there's 5. And here's 5 shots with the lead hard cast. I think that was my last shot. I thought I pulled it, but I mean, the group is still pretty wide. I mean, that's about 1.5 inches at 10 yards. This one is definitely under 1 inch. So not bad. I mean, that's a brand new gun. Sights, I don't want to say too much yet. I would like to think I could get them a little farther left, and they both went right, but hard to say because that could have just been my stance today. Who knows? Gun, brand new gun, not broken in. I mean, I'd give it another 30 rounds before I get too grumpy about that. But not bad, not bad. I'm impressed the sights are actually that close to being on target. That doesn't happen very often with new guns anymore. They usually just throw them on there and wish you the best of luck. So that's really impressive. And there wasn't a failure to feed at all. These rounds are pretty benign for the most part. Most guns they'll shoot. Most guns, the jacketed hollow point is somewhere between like 1075, somewhere in there, to like 1125, and the lead goes a little faster, anywhere from like 1090 to maybe 1150, 1175. It depends on the gun. The 4-inch barreled guns do not, they're all sub 1100. I'm anticipating this one's going to be above 1100, 5-inch barrel. We'll see. So I'll put it on a chrono, but I'll guess on camera here that the jacketed hollow point is going to be somewhere around 1130. In the lead hard cast will be 1175-ish, maybe a little more. That would be awesome. So that's it. Great first impression. All right, that's not too bad. That's about 1 inch, maybe just a hair more that side to that side. Each one of these is 1 inch, so maybe 1 inch and a quarter. It's not bad for a quick double check. That's good. It was doing about 2 inches before at 100, and I knew the gun was better than that. Those guns, those Tikka guns, just really like to be run clean. Anytime they get dirty, they just start opening up. I mean, there's still point of aim, point of impact, but the groups get bigger. It doesn't like to be dirty. Some of the other ones are just the opposite. You don't want to shoot them clean, but these like to be clean. So there we go. That's good enough for me. That's a little peace of mind. I'm going to leave this up in case I want to double check it again one more time. And that's that. Off to the Great Plains we go, looking for some pronghorn. It's a nice area. It's actually kind of a special little spot. Put a helmet on today because it's cold. It's keep my head warm. So it's a special little spot. We drove through a pretty densely forested area, and then it opens up to these plains like this, and you don't usually see pronghorn here. We race dirt bikes through here, and man, these are some fun trails for dirt bikes. You can get serious air on all the little water bars. Even at like 25 miles an hour, it's a nice little jump. Anyway, this opens up to completely treeless, and that's where I'm headed to. And that should be a good area. I'll probably have to walk quite a bit, but that's fine. So that's where I'm going. So I just saw 4 of them way out here. They came out of here, ran down here and over. There are at least 2 bucks in the group. Well, at least one, and it looked like a second one. One was pretty nice. This is a premier area, so it was a decent. Okay, so I have to hold the phone, but 14, 16 inches. Son of a gun. And then I see this, which is not on Onyx. So I like to believe somebody's being truthful, and this is private property, and I respect that, but the maps show otherwise. So anyway, those things were at least 3/4 of a mile away. I think our orange stands out like really bad. And there's another hunter right there. So I drove onto my hunting spot, and as I got close, I actually glassed a small herd of pronghorn on a hillside. They were well over 1,000 yards at that point. I know this doesn't look like it. You look at this terrain behind me. The elevation is 10,000 feet exactly right here. 10,000. Holy shit. That's all right. I live at 84, so, but it definitely affects you. So on the backside of this ridge, right back there, is where I just spotted those 11. Also on the backside of this ridge, thanks to some mapping technology, there's a bunch of trees. I thought there were a few, but it's the whole north face. So I'm trying to get laterally in line with them as close as I can. So I'm like, not the hypotenuse on the triangle, but one of the legs. And then work my way down through the timber. I mean, that might camouflage me. It's kind of what my hope is. Maybe my orange vest looks like orange aspen. Yeah. So that's the plan. All right. I'm right in line with them right now. Took off about 60 yards. Woo! We're at like 917 now. So, yikes. And I got to crest this hill in front of me, and it will be exposed. I don't think there's any way around it. You might be able to walk over here. I'm going to have to look. I got a lot of time in the day, though. It's like noon. So, got hours on my side. I'm just going to keep working my way over there. The ATV is like 2 ridges behind me, probably half mile or so. So that's not too bad. That's the Collegiate Peaks. Like Mount Harvard, Yale, Princeton. Those are all those mountains right there. Okay, bye for now. That's 612 yards, and they keep going up that hill. I'm afraid they're gonna go over the ridge, and I'm screwed. I don't think if I get to the valley, I don't think it's gonna do much for me. I'm still probably gonna be at 500. Probably 650. No. Maybe I take up 100. Oh, crap. Not sure what to do now. I wonder if I should go that way and then kind of curve around, see if I can head them off. I'm gonna look at a map, see what's on the backside of that ridge. Oh, those guys are going over the ridge. All right, and it's flat. It's relatively flat up there. So there's no way I can get down to the bottom. it's quite a ways, and then make a stalk come on that side. They'll be gone. They're already at the top right now. So I think my next approach is going to be to race this way through the timber, see if I can head up and then head them off. I mean, they're probably at like 650, 700 yards right now, and I'm well protected in this timber, but I can't take that shot. Oh gosh. Okay, there I can't. Well, and here's the other thing. I can't find the big buck that was in there. There's still 11 of them, so one of them must be facing a different direction that I can't see its horns. I counted 11 before, and there's still 11. I still count 11, so the thing's got to be there. It was a nice sized one. Little update. Oh crap! Caught in some fence snare. I was following those things, and then there was a buck, a small one, chasing 2 does around. Clearly had something on his mind, and zoomed in with my phone and the screen went blank. Somehow I inadvertently brought the brightness down to 0. I didn't know you could do that, but I did it. So I figured out how to, just started swiping around on my phone as if the screen was on. I got to pack up. So that's cool. Lost my sunglasses. Those have been my favorite Oakleys for years. I've hiked over 3 miles, so I'm not going to go look for them. Somebody else can have them. Sucks for me. And then those pronghorn, about as fast as I could walk down towards them, they were meandering away from me. So I was never able to close the gap. I'm like, this is pointless. They're meandering the same speed I'm working my way towards them, and I have to loop around and get ahead of them. Obviously that doesn't work mathematically. So I'm working my way back to the 4-wheeler. They're still there. The herd's still there, and they're heading north. So maybe I can devise a little plan and head them off. That's it for now. Bye. At this point, a few other things were happening, which I'll explain in just a minute. But I ended up having to race back to the cabin, find a place with a cell signal, and then take care of a bunch of work stuff. And that's exactly what I did. So a little frustrated at that point in the day. But I was able to get back out, and I ended up walking to where the pronghorn were in the morning. I walked to that exact spot, that ridge, where they were, to see if they were on the backside. Okay, so it's like 5:30. I have about an hour left. This afternoon has just sucked. Got into those elk earlier this morning. I guess it was afternoon. Phone screen went black. Thought everything okay. Get back to the ATV, get my phone up, and I look at it and said, when I was pushing all the buttons trying to reactivate it, it said it dialed 911, some emergency SOS thing. I'm like, oh mother gosh. So had to race back to somewhere I could get a cell signal, text my wife, because she's the emergency contact, said, hey, look, I don't know if they call. Everything's okay. My phone, something happened to my phone. And then I get back to the cabin and work blows up. Client / peer took 24 hours to do their side of something, sent it to me and said, hey, I need this back ASAP. And I have about dial-up modem speed at the cabin, even with a cell booster. So I had to deal with that. So I'm trying to do the right thing all the way around. Pronghorn, hopefully you're like on my side. All right, so this morning, I came over that ridge right there, went way down over here to those trees, worked my way into this timber line right there. The elk were on the back side of this hill. Those trees face north, so that hillside that's facing the one that faces north faces south. That's where they were. And then they came up and went to this plateau up here. That was about 4.5 hours ago. Well, there's a few mule deer right over there. Other than that, there's nothing. Like, nothing. Those are the collegiate peaks again. A lot of those are over 14,000 feet. I think there's 11, maybe 14 of them you can see in that skyline. But anyway, I'd really like to see pronghorn. And I know they're pretty territorial, so they could be, again, on the backside of that face. I'm not walking down there tonight. There's nothing I could do if I saw one. So I'm gonna go down here to see if I could look down in that valley. I mean, ideally it'd be great to find a place where they're bedded down and then come back in the morning. I never found them that night, and that's okay. I knew in the morning they'd be, roughly in the same area or on those same hillsides, give or take a mile or two, and that was fine. I mean, it's easy to glass out there. The landscape was so vast that it really wasn't an issue. So I went back to the cabin, chilled, relaxed, got my work stuff dealt with, and got my gear put away and ate dinner. Good morning. Today's Tuesday. I think today's going to be a much better day. Yesterday I was just stressed out. I had a whole bunch of work stuff. Parts on the ATV broke, like my scabbard here, how it holds the rifle broke. I had that phone issue, dialing 911 inadvertently. It's just like one thing after another. So today, I think it's going to be a good day. A little bit of fog. That's all right. Actually, it would help if it is there. I could sneak in a little easier. Today's plan is to go where I was yesterday. I drove around yesterday evening trying to find new spots. Nothing was better. So I'm going to go to where I was yesterday, sort of late morning, hike over those hills. Hopefully those things are still where they were, at least in the same area. Try to get in there as quick as I can, and then, scan for animals from there. So I have a wet seat. That sucks. All right. It's going to be an awesome day. It's a cool old homestead. There's multiple buildings there. It looks like 4. You just wonder, what do they do there? What was life like? Probably hard. Harsher than today, obviously, but a lot less worries than today, too. Or different worries. Anyway, I love that stuff. It's cool to see. I had to stop. And when you look at something like this, life is good. Really good. Okay. So those animals yesterday were about where that shade is, maybe a little farther out there. But on that hillside, it was facing south. The treed side is facing north. And I was back in those trees way, way back over there. There's a peninsula of private land right in front of me. You can see there's like an orange sign, and the farther back there's white signs. It's maybe a half mile across. And it would take me 10 minutes to walk that, and I'd be right where I want to be. But instead, I have to drive around a huge loop, probably 4 miles, to get to where my launch point is. And then I'm going to have to hike a mile and a half to get to that point right over there. So I respect private property. I have quite a bit of it, and I get upset when people are on my land, so I'm staying off his. But darn, would it make things easy just to cross that right there. Here's my launch pad, same as yesterday. That's the global warming dried up watering hole. I don't think it had anything to do with global warming. So went up over there, and that's the plan for today. I know I'm in for a little bit of a hike. I mean, it's only like a mile straight line distance to where I was, but there's some serious up and down. So it's probably 2 miles. I don't know what the elevation is. These hills are only maybe 300 feet, 30 stories, something like that. So anyway, I didn't see anything on the way in. That may or may not be a good sign. Okay. So I didn't wear my glasses this morning, and there are three of them right out there. I'm hiding behind the four-wheeler. I'll range them. And I couldn't tell. I looked really quick to see if there are any bucks in there, and it didn't look like it. But I'll look again. That's kind of cool. Great way to start the day. All right, I ranged them. They're 508 yards. And I switched guns today. I brought my 300 Win Mag, figuring 100-yard shots were not on the table. So I would take that shot. I'd actually feel comfortable where I am right now, and I had a good rest. But those are 3 does. I verified that, 3 does. So that's not what my tag is for. So they get to meander on happily. The question is, though, what do I do from here? I don't want to spook them. Maybe there's a buck around here. So glass as best I can, and then I'm gonna, I guess at some point I gotta go up this hill. All right, this is where I was yesterday. Those animals are on the hillside facing me. There's actually, I don't know, you can't even see it. There's somewhere up here, right on the ridge line, there's a doe. Nice fat one, but it's a doe. So I'm just gonna stay on this side here. Glass for a little bit. It's amazing. You think you saw everything, and then you pull up binoculars and you're like, whoa, didn't see that. So I'll let my eyes do the walking right now. You got to be really careful when you sit here. Ugh, spines on that thing. Anyways, so I'm walking the ridge where I was yesterday. It's kind of like playing Where's Waldo. There's one way out there. I mean, I bet it's got to be 2 miles. I can't tell what it is. It doesn't look like a buck. And that's through the 18 power optic on my rifle. And it's good glass too. That's Swarovski glass. So it's a long ways. There's another one way out over here. I don't know what it is. I can't even tell. I just know it's a pronghorn. It's probably 3, maybe 4 miles away. Along a fence line. I was walking along a fence. And the 3 that I saw this morning are still behind me. They're bedded down in the shade. About halfway down the hill, they're just sitting there. So I'm debating whether or not I go down and back up. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's worth chasing one way far away, way over there. I can't even tell the sex. But then again, there could be that herd I saw yesterday, just right on the back side of that, or somewhere in that vicinity. So I'm gonna sit for a little bit and try to think this through. All right, so sitting here paid off. There's a buck in that saddle, that sort of flat top up there, and it's heading west. So it's walking this ridge like, woo, that way. And then there's another one, I still can't tell the sex on, over here. And that one is also heading west, so both towards me. So that's enough information for me to make the hike. So I gotta go down and then back up and work my way that way. But at least I know there's game over there, so I'm not just walking that hill for the sake of a good workout. This hill looked a lot smaller when I was back up farther away. Yikes. It's got to be 700 feet maybe. I don't know. I'll let the GPS figure it out. It's big. Yeah, it's big. But it's early in the day, so, and I like working out. Kinda. Let's see how this goes. All right, I'm at the bottom. Now I gotta go up that hillside. Actually, going up looks easier than walking through the woods I just went. And if any of you are elk hunters and have a tag for this area, these are the woods you want to be in. That's the most elk droppings I've ever seen in this unit, ever, in one place. There are no elk here, by the way, either. We come up here, we've had property here since I think it was 2009. And almost never see elk, almost never. That's probably because I'm never in these woods either. So, all right, on to pronghorn. All right, there's a truck in the valley. Dude, what the fuck is that noise? And I look, and there's this little truck. At first I was mad. I'm like, all right, I'm sure he accepts cash. So if I'm lucky enough to get one, maybe I can bribe him to drive me and it out of here. That'd be pretty sweet. So he's also gonna push those elk up the hill. Absolutely, that one I saw that I couldn't tell the sex, which I think is a doe. That'll absolutely go up the hill towards me. Hopefully it doesn't scare that buck that I saw. All right, it looks like a buck out there at 240 yards. If it is a buck, I'm gonna see if we can wait till he goes somewhere where it's not behind a hill like that and then take the shot. Okay. So he walked a little over with this backstop back here. He was a little longer than 240. All right, let me pause right here. So this was definitely a safe shot, 240 yards, and I decided to take it. So I laid down prone, put the rifle on my backpack, and took the shot. What I didn't think through or didn't realize or wasn't visible in the optic was the hillside between me and the pronghorn. It's very difficult to see in this perspective because I'm kneeling. But when I actually took the shot, I was laying prone, and the barrel was about 6 or so inches above the ground. And that ultimately affected my point of impact. Did it! It's in the back there, right over there. So I did a 240-yard shot, and the barrel was really close to the ground. I saw dust close to where the animal was. I'm like, oh, it looks like the bullet hit something on the way there. I'm 6 inches off the ground. So I'm like, I'll pace it out. It was 240 yards, went to 240 yards, and about 80 yards away, it was standing there looking at me broadside, just standing there. I'm like, there you are. So it was a standing shot for me, 80 yards. I'm like, all right, thank you, God. Thank you. It's been a challenging hunt. Thank you. I did it. I did it. This is a very special hunt to me. It took 10 years. 10 years to make this happen. It's supposed to be a good unit, and we bought some property out here in about 2009, and I've been putting in for a tag ever since. And one of these days I knew I was going to draw it, and I figured it was going to be this year based on the points, and sure enough I did. So it's a special hunt. I mean, complete solo. I've been scouting all over. I've had 3 days, Sunday afternoon, Monday, and today's Tuesday. So within 48 hours, I put meat on the table. Thank you, God. Thank you, family. I don't know what else to say. It's a special day, very special day to be out here to experience this. So the work begins now. I'm grateful. So at this point, the work started. Tagged it, gutted it, and started skinning it. I was about 1.5 miles from the ATV, which doesn't sound like much, but there were 2 steep ravines between me and it, one of which was about 700 feet deep, and the far hillside was covered in deadfall. I had convinced myself I could carry this entire thing out on my little Kuiu day pack, and sure enough, I got everything on it and was able to do exactly that. All right, here's the next question. Can I get this back in one trip? I'm guessing the weight is maybe 80 pounds. I mean, it's not much. The hind quarter of an elk, a big bull elk, is about 80. So, and I've done that before, plus like a tenderloin or something. So I think I can do it. It's gonna take me a while. I'm gonna sweat and swear a lot, but I think I can do it. If I can get it on the pack. So this is a Kuiu Venture 2300. I don't think it was made to hike things out of the woods. but I'm gonna give it a try. Here's a little kudos to Benchmade. This is a new knife Benchmade put out this year. I don't remember what it's called. It's supposed to be like their survival hiking all-purpose knife. It's actually really nice. I like it a lot. So first blood for the knife. It just came out this year. It was introduced at SHOT Show 2022, but nice little knife. Did a great job, still sharp. I wouldn't mind touching it up on a ceramic rods, but other than that, it's still in good shape. All right, there it is. I fit it all on my pack. Now, whether or not the pack, I haven't lifted it yet. So let's see. Holy, that's gotta be 70 or 75 pounds. So I've done more than that. Hopefully everything stays on there. Whew. All right, the hike back. So I gotta go down, up to the ridge you can see there. Then I'm gonna go down, up again, and then the ATV's on the backside of that. So there's actually 3 ridges I gotta go over. I'm thinking I might go this way and then side walk up that hill, so I'm not going straight up it. The distance is longer, but I think it'll be a little easier on my legs, and I don't have to climb over all those dead trees with the pack. I don't know. Just gonna start walking. It's gonna take a while. So it's exactly 1 o'clock now. See how long it takes. This is a bitch. It's hard to tell, and it never looks right in the videos, but 40 degrees, 35, 40 degree pitch. So, oh my God. Oh, never worried about bears out here, but this is actually one spot where they could be. So hopefully there are none. I only have about 50 yards to go, I think. Maybe 100 yards to go to get through this deadfall stuff, and then the rest is clear hiking. Up, down, but no trees. Made it back. Woo! That was 1.3 miles horizontal. That wasn't what I actually did. And I don't know what the elevation was. It was 450 on that one, so I had another maybe 300. 750 feet elevation total. So, and it took me 1 hour and 10 minutes. It's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to take me 2. So that's not too bad. So now I got to let the air dry some sweat off and drive back and get this on ice. So pronghorn season 2022 comes to an end, and it was a success. I think I got lucky, but I'll take it.